Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show. Today we're going to look at the city of Sedona trying to clamp down on short-term rentals, and they haven't had very good luck with it. To where now they're just at the point of begging short-term rental owners, please don't buy anything in Arizona. Mayor on short-term rentals, look someplace else. Sedona has way too many. Well, a lot of short-term rentals in Sedona are finding that out the hard way. They thought it would be really easy to be booked solid because they were during the pandemic. So more and more people kept going out there and scooping up short-term rentals. It's happening all over the place, especially Flagstaff. But the problem with Sedona is they just don't have enough homes up there. There's only 7,000 homes in Sedona proper anyway. And so the local government has declared a housing emergency late last year because of the large number of short-term rentals in the world famous hiking town. Since then, the number of vacation rentals has only gone up. Sedona Mayor Scott Jablow sending a message both to prospective out-of-town landlords turning short-term rentals into the state government. Look someplace else. Sedona has too many. Last year, 16% of the city's housing inventory was vacation rentals. So far this year, it's 18%. He said his own neighborhood has more than 1 in 3 at 35%. That's pretty brutal, folks. That's a lot of Airbnbs out there. And so the actual city council notes here from December 10th of 2024 is saying that they're declaring a housing shortage emergency due to the proliferation of short-term rentals. They're at 18% availability. Well, what they're finding is the state kind of tied their hands. The state came out when Governor Ducey said, hey, I don't want to see any restrictions on short-term rentals. Seemed to make sense at the time, but over time now it's grown into a monster, and certain cities and certain pockets in the valleys are having problems with it, Scottsdale being one of them. And so now they're trying to implement certain things, but they can't put in a lot of restrictions. They're just putting in a lot of license requirements and a lot of fines. In other words, in both in Sedona and in Scottsdale and many municipalities, they say you have to let your immediate neighbors know who the emergency contact is for that Airbnb. In case there's a problem, they can call you. And if you have 3 violations, you're going to lose your license. And they're charging more and more for the licenses, but they're just jacking the rates up, and they're getting away with it. Now, how many short-term rentals are there when you take a visual look of Sedona? This is a little deceiving, but it is true. If you look at Sedona, it's all these purple dots. Keep in mind that these aren't all just individual houses or condos. Some of them are people just renting a room in a house, renting a mobile home. So it's all over the map, but that's a lot of purple dots. And those are purple dots that people can't rent for long-term rentals or they can't purchase. Now, are we seeing a lot of short-term rentals hit the market? Not yet. Really, the only way you can tell if it used to be an Airbnb is if most of them, when they're listed for sale, include the furnishings and dishes, everything. So we're not seeing a lot of that yet. Now, Sedona has tried to implement all kinds of things, and it's not working. Scottsdale has also tried. It's easier to restrict things in condos because the HOAs can do it. State doesn't have any oversight on that, neither does the city. So if the homeowners collectively decide that they want to clamp down on the activities of Airbnbs or the number of short-term rentals in their communities, it's easier to do in a condo than it is your neighborhood. And that's the rub. A lot of these neighborhoods are putting in taxes, some restrictions, but they can't wipe them out. They can't say, oh, we can only have 3 in this neighborhood. They don't have the authority to do that. So they're mounting city by city efforts to rally with the state legislatures to please take another look at this problem, because it's not helping our housing shortage. Now, it may not be helping some hospitality either. It does help tourism. It's kind of fun to go somewhere and rent something that's not in a hotel, and you can have a yard and hot tub and a view and all that stuff. But we're starting to feel a little pinch here. Now, St. George, Utah does not have those kind of restrictions. They practically put them out of business. They said that short-term rentals have to have an on-site manager. Well, how are you going to do that if it's a single-family residence? Well, you're not. You're out of luck. So you can do it if you live in the same condo complex. So St. George, they found a way to get rid of it. I don't see us doing that down here in Arizona, but they've got to do something, and city by city. We're going to watch. I think this is going to be the year where they're going to clamp down harder. Now, where I grew up in Port Angeles, Washington, that city tried to implement a cap on short-term rentals. They just picked a number out of the hat, 200. Well, the problem that they're discovering is nobody really registered their home as a short-term rental when they told them they needed to, because they wanted to tax them 2.9% or something. And they don't have enough staff or enforcement to go out and find somebody that didn't register as a short-term rental. And so they really honestly have way more than 200, and they can't really go back and just roll them back. They could say, here's the new tax, you need to register. And the city, by far, a lot of the people are going, yeah, I hear you, tough. So they're avoiding it. And we're seeing some of that in Arizona too. Yeah, I hear you, I'm not going to do it. I don't know where it's going to shake out. I think we're definitely going to see more and more restrictions on Airbnbs. It's not panic time yet for owners to list their short-term rentals. But if you're an owner, man, you better start paying very, very close attention to this. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, rick@rickhelps.com. Please don't forget to go down below and register for my weekly newsletter. It comes out every morning at 7 a.m. Take care.